Yo, you know what it is. You know what it be. One of the livest podcasts on the planet. That's right. The Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. This is the Marriage Chronicles edition. And I want to thank everybody that's out there tuning in and being patient. We had a couple, hiccups, couple technical difficulties that we had to fix, but we got it straight and we ready to rock and roll. So, before we get started, you know how we like to do. We like to thank everybody that's tuned in. It's watching another episode of the Marriage Chronicles. This is season 2. We got a special guest today that's going to come in and tell us their love story and how things began and, how the marriage is working out and how to have, a healthy marriage. But before we get started, you know how we got to do. We got to set the vibes and, we're going to set these vibes off. And here we go.
Yeah. I'm simply ball dropping. Marriage Chronicles. Do you take thee to be your lawfully? To have it to hold for rich and poor? And sickness to help to death do us part? My casket short, will you have a change of heart on guard? Exchange these vows, we went through hours. I lied and cheated, I was left with scars. My love is astronomical, don't need the drama, mama. I'm simply ball dropping, it's the Marriage Chronicles. She loved me not. My heart cold, we used to be hot. She took me for all I got. Tick-tock, out of time, this my last shot. She loved me not. My heart cold, we used to be hot. She took me for all I got. Tick-tock, out of time, what we talking about? Yeah, Marriage Chronicles. Yeah, Marriage Chronicles. Yeah, Marriage Chronicles. Sit back, pour a glass, let it overflow. Yeah, K-Sap, what up? It's James 4th, y'all. Yeah, Bacardi Dark on the track. It's like that. Blueprint Inc.
Now, your host of the Simply Ball Dropping Marriage Chronicles, the man behind the mic, K-Sap, and his co-host, Kanisha Sappington.
Yo, and just like that, we right back in. And before we get started, this is a episode that is long overdue. We finally got a chance to, get this couple. They're well known. I mean, all the people in the Frederick area, they know this couple. I mean, they do a lot of things in the community. They host a lot of parties too. This was before the pandemic started. I always tell Rob, I gave it away. I always tell Rob that, hey, every time y'all throw something, man, y'all got the whole city shut down. So, it's like, this couple right here, man, I love this couple to death, man. Been knowing this couple for a long time. So without further ado, we're going to bring them on. But, I got my co-host riding shotgun with me tonight, K-Sap Square. So is there anything that you'd like to say before I bring this lovely couple on?
No, I'm just excited to get started with season 2 and glad that Rob and Jonita has decided to be the first couple to kick this season off.
Oh.
All right, without further ado, let's bring on this couple, Mr. Rob Bowens and Jonita Bowens. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Yeah, so it's been a long time. You know what I'm saying? I normally give a great introduction. I pretty much wrapped it up, but you guys give y'all's own introduction. Let the people know who's watching and listening, who you are, and, give a, 2 fun facts about yourself. I'll start with you, Rob.
R&B. K-Sap's co-host on Simply Ball Dropping, Sports Talk, and avid golfer and Dallas Cowboy fan.
Great. And your turn, Jonita.
I am Jonita Bowens, R&B's sidekick. Best thing to happen to him in his life.
Wow.
I am a avid crafter. As you know, we are the owners of Be Pressing, which we do a whole lot of pressing of shirts, cups, mugs, whatever you want to call it. We do it. We try to anyway. And we have a son that is 26 years old.
Okay, great. That's a lovely introduction, and I like how you threw that in, Rob. At the end, I'm a Cowboys fan, but hey,
Yeah, I mean,
we'll let everybody knows in the hometown, who your team is. But
we hot right now.
yeah, y'all hot right now, but this is not about sports right now. This is about y'all's love. You know what I'm saying? And Johnita just said she was the best thing that ever happened to you.
Yeah,
So-
she stepped a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, she stepped a little bit.
Yeah, just a tad. Just
Okay.
just a tad.
That's just my opinion.
Well, okay. This is what the people want to know. So right now, we're gonna go down memory lane. We gonna walk back like you always say, Rob. We're gonna circle back.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna circle back because y'all 20 years in marriage. I don't know how long y'all was dating. So we're gonna take a walk back down memory lane. So let's go back, and I'm gonna start with you, Rob. Where did you first meet Johnita?
I've always known her, just being in the community. It's a close circle within Frederick. So I mean, I saw her around. I actually met her on her birthday. She was celebrating with a couple of friends. So that was the actual first time outside of just knowing her, of actually getting introduced, so to speak, and meeting her for the first time.
Okay, I mean, you got to elaborate a little bit more than that, Rob. You got to go a
You
little
don't want me
deeper
to tell
than
the story.
that. We need the story. We need to know.
So she's with her girlfriends, and we're at a club in Laurel. She's celebrating.
Because somebody did say that you met her in the club. Yeah,
That'd be
Jay
my
said you met her in the club.
Yeah. So she was hanging out with a couple of her girlfriends, and I was hanging out with a couple of my friends. I noticed her. She happened to say she was celebrating her birthday, so we danced a little bit, and pretty much had a decent time. For the most part of the night. At the end of the night is when it kind of went sideways, though, because I'm like, all right, we had a decent time. Let me get your number. Let me call you. She hollers, look me up in the phone book. And I'm like, nah, not gonna do that. Not gonna
Look
do
you
that.
up in the phone book.
Look me up in the phone book. Like the big thick yellow one. Was like, nah, I'm not
That's
doing
old
that.
school. You're telling your age now.
So I'm like, nah, and the funny thing is I'm coaching the basketball team at the same time for her mom's Satoma basketball league. And I was like, I'll be there, but I'm not looking your number up in the phone book. So
Okay.
if you want to holler at me, that's where I'll be at.
Okay.
After that, it was history. Because
Well,
I didn't
when
look
you
it
say
up.
after that it was history, what you mean it was history after that?
I didn't look it up. Let's just say it that way. So I had to get it somehow. So she brought herself down to the Satoma basketball game and said, yeah, I'm not going to let this one get away.
Oh wow. So okay. Well, Rob, it's interesting that you said that. So your wife is over there smiling. So let me hear her story on how it all happened, because there's always two sides to a story. So we got to understand where Johnita's coming from, because she did a lot of smiling. So you might have left some things out, but Johnita's gonna give it to us real.
Well, I would actually say that I knew him. I knew of him. I knew his sisters, but I did not know him. He actually lived across the street from me. He grew up across the street from me, and I didn't know him until I had heard about him because he went to TJ High School. I went to Frederick High, and he played sports, and I was a cheerleader. And I heard his name, kind of, knew who he was, but did not know him. And he told the story correct.
Okay.
We were at the club and we were celebrating my birthday. He was there with his friends, and I did tell him to look me up in the phone book. He's not lying. And he did basically like, nah, I'm not doing that. And then went down to the basketball game. And from there, we just kind of, kicked it. And, we started dating when my son was 6 months old.
Okay.
So we've been together for 26 years, you can say. And then we got married in 2001. So, yeah. And actually, I'll tell you the story.
Okay.
I wanted to get married in September because my brother and my sister were all there. They got married in September. So I was like, okay, let's just keep it in the family. He told me no.
I don't remember that.
He told me no.
See, Rob is stern.
So we got married in June.
In June.
Yes.
Okay. So when
There
y'all
was
first,
there was no real significance in regards to the June, though. I mean, not that I know of.
Yeah.
Not that, I mean, I don't remember the September.
okay. So when y'all first met, so you said that, y'all actually got married and things like that. But when y'all first met, where did y'all go on y'all's first date? Like, you know how back in the days that, when we was in school, when you met somebody, you send them a little letter and say, hey, would you be my boyfriend or girlfriend?
Yeah,
How did y'all put a tag on what y'all's title was?
Look, I remember, she doesn't. I can already tell this right now. Our first date was at a wedding.
Oh.
The first date was at a wedding.
Your cousin's wedding.
No.
Who?
Mm-mm.
I don't recall.
It's Beth.
Oh, Beth and
Yeah.
Beth and Jerome?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was their wedding.
Oh,
okay.
The Pattersons.
Yes. Correct.
Well, it was the Pattersons. Yeah.
So that was a date.
Yes.
So you asked her to attend the wedding with you.
That's a good question. I'm not sure who got the invite. I think she probably would have gotten the invite, and I think I was the tag along.
Oh, you was the plus one, huh?
Yeah.
But the good thing was we knew them. So
yeah, correct. I mean, it wasn't like we didn't know them.
Yeah.
We pretty much knew them already.
So as y'all, at the wedding and things like that, I mean, did y'all have a title on y'all's relationship, or y'all was just still friends? Y'all was just still kicking it, trying to fill each other out?
It was early development at that point. It was just more or less just hanging out, just kicking it.
Well, let me say, you know how us females,
yeah,
we kind of are more emotional, more attached. So I'm probably thinking to myself, yeah, we more like, dating, things like that. Now, what him was thinking, I don't know.
I mean,
so Johnny, so you at that particular time, you thought you was already his girlfriend.
Yeah, we go together.
Look, hey, no, look, Kanisha, I'm with you, but here's I gotta take you back. The same chick that said look you up in the phone book. Now we dating.
Oh, okay.
You follow what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
Well, because at that point,
I'm just saying.
You're correct, but I think at that point you're saying to yourself, okay, I like this one. I might have something here. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to, make this work. So we was going together, like Kanisha said.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so you checked the box. So this is what I want to ask you, Johnita. So how old was you when you met Rob?
25. Because Jarrell's 26. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
So at that particular time when y'all met, and, he said that you wanted him to look you up in the yellow pages, right? So my thing is, at that time, okay, you're 25 years old, and you was already putting a title on it that y'all go together. So was you all in from there, that you knew that you had you're shaking your head. You didn't even let me finish.
Oh, okay.
So at that particular time, you didn't know that he was the one for you, or you was still testing the roads?
Oh, testing the roads, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I would probably say the same thing. I mean, it was still extremely early in our development, so to speak. So I would say it was definitely pretty early.
It was pretty early.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
But because I'm kind of confused here, because the same person that just said look me up in the yellow books, then she already put a title that y'all was going together.
Yeah.
But you wasn't sure that was going to be your forever ever.
No.
As I state, we as women, or I'm just gonna put it on me.
Okay.
You kind of look at that as happening. You know what I'm saying? You kind of look at, okay, we have this thing going, so say that we're gonna make this thing work. not saying that it was definite marriage that day, but you kind of look and say, hey, even though I did tell him, look me up in the phone book, I'm going to say that this one is probably going to be a keeper, you know, so, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel where you're coming from.
Play a little hard to get, right?
Basically.
I don't
make it easy.
Look, I was okay with that.
I don't see that.
I didn't have a problem with
that,
that.
though.
I mean,
if he really wanted her, she says, "Hey."
No, but she already put a title on it. So how's that playing hard to get?
Hey,
he didn't have to chase nothing. It was easy for him.
He had to go look up.
But it wasn't like it was within a week, Kareem. I mean,
I didn't say that, but I'm following your story along because I asked, like, when did you put a title on it? Like, what was y'all's classification? Was y'all just kicking it, or your boyfriend and girlfriend, or y'all just having fun?
I mean, go ahead.
At that point in time, I let me backtrack and say it wasn't within, you know, you could say that we was trying to kick it. Let me say that.
Okay.
But it wasn't within like a week or 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
I'm saying
it was
probably
a time frame
I'm saying probably
that,
within the first month. Probably within the first month. Up until then, might have been just like phone conversation,
right?
Just, you know what I mean? Just
no,
like,
not texting, pages.
Pages. Pages was not at the time. So maybe, you know, just minimal interaction. You know, maybe the basketball games was another opportunity to kind of chit chat and everything like that. And then more or less it was like, all right, okay, this might be going somewhere.
Okay. Okay, that's a better. I understand it a little better. So, Rob, from your point, when she put that title on there, that y'all girlfriend and boyfriends, at that time was you thinking like, okay, this might be the one I can go all in and shut everything else out?
No, I think you're jumping the gun a little bit. I mean, I think you know, we still trying to test the waters a little bit, trying to feel each other out. I think at the same time, you know, kind of both of us are coming out of different relationships and kind of, you know, still trying to get our feet underneath of us, still trying to get the footing. And it was just a good opportunity just to meet somebody different and, you know, kind of try to find a common bond at that point.
Oh, okay. I understand where you're coming from, and it looks like, man.
I mean, you pretty much got us married at this point. I mean, and I'm saying it didn't happen like
that. No,
I
didn't say that. I'm just trying to, you know, like you said, I'm just trying to circle back and trying to see how things progress. You know what I'm saying? But it seems like your wife got you on your best behavior tonight because you're giving the very, you know, the answers that you're giving are like right up her alley. So
no, I mean, no. I wouldn't say that. I guess what I'm saying is initially, you know, it's some adjustment for both of us, so to speak. And like I said, both of us coming out of different relationships, it's an adjustment period. She has a son, you know what I mean? I've never, you know, this is my first relationship with somebody that has a child already. So
now you talk.
You know, now we're talking about, you know, different responsibilities and things of that nature. You gotta, you know, pretty much, you know, you're starting from ground zero at that point, you know. So there's definitely some adjustment. You know, when I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, let's go hang out at the club again, you know, or let's go get some drinks or something. And she's like, no, I got a child. So you got a totally different approach that, you know, you got to deal with. So that's the challenge that you're dealing with. I mean, I'm fresh out of school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm still running, you know what I mean? Where she's a little bit more settled down at this point. And like I said, she has a child.
Man, that's. I mean, I like the way you explain that. And then for people that are listening, there's a lot of people that are in relationships that, you know, when they get into that relationship, that certain female or even the male, they might have kids themselves, and a lot of people don't want to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? They was like, well, you know, they not my kids or anything like that. And I mean, I'm glad that you brought that up because it's a lot of people out there. And, you know, we talk about relationships all the time. We talk about people want to be married. A lot of people don't get married for that particular reason because they say they're coming with baggage and they don't know how to take on that responsibility. So it's a lot of deal breakers for a lot of people. And then, you know, women always complain, well, I can't find nobody, and men saying, well, the people that I got, they got kids and they don't want to be associated with kids because they might not want to have kids themselves. And it just, it's just a lot of things that come with that. So I'm glad that you said that to, shed light on a lot of things that men take on a lot of responsibilities that, that they want to do, you know what I'm saying? But I think some women think that, just because they got a child, that man is not going to want to be a part of that. But, I'm glad that you brought that up. So now that y'all deep in the, in y'all's little, challenges and stuff like that. So as the relationship progressed, how did it go from there? Like, did y'all keep on going on dates, or what was it like then?
Let me circle back, as the husband says. In regards to having a child, I was not going to lay down my package deal. Let me say that, because that was my responsibility, and you're looking for someone as a single mom, someone that's going to come into your child's life to help them grow, in life, and you want someone that's going to be there for you and also for your child. With that being said, I'm just going to be honest here. It was not easy for Rob to come into the life of me and my son. I had to learn to allow him in, if you understand what I mean.
Yes.
Yes. So it took quite a while for me to open the door to allow him to be the person that he could be the best for Jarrell. But as we continue to meet with my child, we went on dates, after that, but he understood that I had a responsibility and I was not going to put my responsibility aside just for him.
And I guess I would also just echo, just as for me, in playing it back, that the fact that she had a child, it never was an issue for me.
Yes.
It didn't matter. I mean, it was kind of like, I didn't have a concern that was going to be a problem, so to speak. I didn't look at it from that perspective, from literally from day one. So that was never really an issue for me. Just it wasn't really one of those things that I was overly concerned with.
Yeah. Now that's great. See, like like I said in my segment here, I said that a lot of people would find that as a deal breaker, right?
Well, look, I was okay because she had a good pedigree, because I know her
Yes.
peoples.
Yes.
Her peoples is great. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like I said, we lived across the street from them. There would be basketball games, and then we'd go to their house. More or less, we're getting ready to go out or something like that. So, I mean, it wasn't like it was all the time, but I had been there and I knew her folks. So I knew deep inside she was a good person and she had a good background.
So, Rob, let me ask you a question. Did you have a sense of, when you went into the relationship, being that you didn't have any kids and she had a son, did you feel a sense of, how did you feel going into it? I know you said you didn't care, but how did you feel? Because a lot of times that's a lot of pressure. I don't know. I'm just putting myself in a man's shoes. Jumping into a woman and a son's relationship is a bond that normally people cannot break, and it's very strong. For the most part.
I would definitely agree. Even to this day, her and Jarrell have a tremendous bond that sometimes it's kind of like it's difficult to get in between. Even as he's 26 years old today. At the time, it was one of those things where it was a trust factor, and really, her trying to get a full understanding of me. Is this someone that I want to allow around my son? Is he the right type of person? And I think over time, after you show who you are, it becomes easier for her to let her guard down a little bit. But it was still, challenges along the way that,
Yeah.
pretty much that you just work your way through. For me, I mean, I look at it that after a while, we've been dating. I mean, I treat it just as if he is my son. I mean, I changed diapers, I did everything. I mean, it wasn't
He
anything.
gave
Yeah,
beatings.
yeah. I mean, it wasn't anything that I didn't do in raising him. So, being the fact that literally he's only 6 months old,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I'm there from the beginning. So
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
so to me, I mean, I feel that, I was part of, bringing him up, raising him, like
Yes.
I said, going all the way back to changing diapers, feeding bottles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Getting up in the middle of the night, when he's crying, everything. I did all of that, so it wasn't anything that I didn't do, from that perspective.
That's what I'm saying. So that I think that kind of made the transition a little easier because y'all started out y'all's relationship when he was only 6 months old.
Yeah.
And when y'all talking about a bond, now I could
Mhm.
see if you came into their life when he was like, 7 and 8 years old, it might have been
Absolutely.
a different transition.
Hmm.
But you caught him fresh,
Yeah.
like 6 months old, and you're the father. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You're there. I mean, you up at night. You changing the diapers. You feeding him. So it's not the fact that he has this tremendous bond with his mother. He also has a tremendous bond with you.
Right.
From what I see, from me knowing you and knowing y'all's family and knowing Jarrell, I see the bond that y'all have. So that started early because you was there as 6 months old. When he got to talking and seeing, he sees your face. You always around.
I
So
mean,
I
I
think
think
y'all's
it took a little
bond
bit of
became
time.
close.
I mean, it definitely took some time, and like I said, it's one of those things where it's continuous.
Yes.
I think early on from that point up until he's in high school, going to college. It's being a father figure for him, and then after that, as he's going through school, we're just it's more or less a change to a different approach where just you're trying to mentor him into
Yes.
being a good young man. And
Yes.
that's the transition that we're kind of in right now is, you're past the discipline type relationship. You know what I mean? You're, the X's and O's. And now you're into just trying to provide structure and trying to provide support mechanism for him.
Man, that's great. So now that everything is, progressing
Mhm.
and y'all's relationship is going further. So when did you say to yourself, I'm gonna ask this to Janita now. When did you say to yourself that okay, this is going the way this is pretty good. This is going according to I'm not gonna say your plans, but this is something that you could see yourself in. When did you say to yourself that okay, now I'm past all the dating and stuff like that? So when did you come to your senses and be like, hey, this might be the one for me?
Um, I would probably say maybe a couple years, maybe when Jarrell was maybe like three, something to that effect. But I think the real kicker for me was the fact that Jarrell and I were going to, or I would take Jarrell to church. So I always had to get spiritually fed in order for us to be covered. And I knew Rob, I think, was going to Asbury
Yeah.
church. So I knew he was, attending church and that he was a believer of Christ. But once we moved out to Spring Ridge and we all started to go to church together, then I kind of something in my mind just said, okay, this is probably the one, because I needed someone to be with me raising my child in a spiritual way, and for us to be walking together. So I think probably when Jarrell was probably about three or so, and then I told Rob, I was like, look, either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it.
You gave an
So
ultimatum, huh?
basically, yeah. Yeah.
And I would have to say that, from her perspective and given her situation, she's definitely ready to, develop into a relationship and kind of settle down. Um, and for me, it's still an adjustment. Still, you still rather young, so to speak, and you gotta go through the process of, all right, can't hang out with the friends. You know what I mean? I gotta, start committing to the relationship.
So I understand what you said you couldn't hang out with the friends. Like, was that by your choice or was that because of the ultimatum she gave you?
No, I mean, let me say one thing is that certainly within respect of her feelings, but ultimately I have to have buy-in from that. When she does say something, you know, it's either you're going to buy into it or you're not. And I think that's part of the adjustment that you have to look at the situation. And I think for myself, I'm looking at the situation too, and I'm looking at it from the perspective that okay, um, you're not going to be able to avoid, making this commitment by doing other things,
Okay.
and you're going to have to go ahead and start progressing because for me, I'm sitting there looking at it like, man, I have someone that's good. I have someone in a relationship that you feel that you can go forward with this person. It wasn't any questions for me whether I could or whether I couldn't. I didn't have any question marks at that point. It's
Okay.
just you got to get past, hanging out and settling down, and that's just being honest.
So you was okay with it when she brought it to your attention. Was there ever was the conversations brought up, or is this was something that
No,
was
I,
just
I
thrown
think
out
I
there?
think from a male perspective, we hear it, but we act like we don't hear it,
Yeah.
and then it's like we try to downplay the situation where it's like, nah, I hear you, yeah, just relax, we got this, you know what I mean, kind of, and all you trying to do is just buy time.
That's what we do. Say
You're
that
just
again.
trying to
Say
buy
that. Say what
time.
you just said. We just try to buy time. Go ahead and
You're
say
just
that.
trying to buy time.
That's basically that's what we try to do.
We just trying to get to tomorrow. You know what I mean?
And that's what I be telling people. It's like
That don't-
sometimes I do
don't
things
like
just
it.
to buy time.
Yeah.
I'm buying my time.
Buying time. That's
So
it.
as it progressed like that, I understand, but I got to go back to when you said about I know it's a commitment, but I got to go back to you said about making a choice of giving her that time or hanging out with your boys or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So was you okay with that? Like, was it made up in your mind? Like, okay, I hear what she's saying. I think I'm on the same page too. I think I'm falling in too, and I think she might be the one. So at that time, did you accept that, or you just was going with the flow, or you listening to the ultimatum, or was that your choice? Like, hey,
Nah, I mean, for me, it didn't take long once we actually had moved in together. We were living together, and you notice each other's tendencies. It's kind of like you can date all you want, but until you actually move in with somebody and you start understanding, okay, they left the
That's when you
toothbrush
really
top,
know.
off. You know what I mean? And they keep leaving the cupboard doors open and stuff like that. No, that's a funny thing. No, but I'm
Johnny,
saying,
why you looking at him like that? So he said something wrong?
No, he's telling the truth because he leaves the cabinet doors open now. It's like driving
No,
me crazy.
but
I mean, marriage is a total job in itself,
It
man.
is. Yes,
yeah,
it is.
and
Yes,
I'm saying you don't understand that until So outside of marriage in itself, okay, you're still trying to get used to the fact that you're living together, you're raising a child, you know what I mean, and then it's kind of like, man, the guys are playing basketball at 7th Street. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm gonna go play ball. Well, nah, you got to watch Jarrell. You know what I mean? Because she's not home. or you got to pick him up from school. You know what I mean? So it's like
I mean, things change.
Yeah, you juggling different responsibilities, and you can't go when you want to go because you're working towards a commitment.
Now, I feel you on that. I mean, I definitely feel you on that, but it's like
She's looking at you like you feeling. She's looking at you like you feeling it too much.
Nah. I mean, I feel what you're saying, man. But as we get older, I don't want to jump the gun. But as we get older, we'll talk about that a little later. But
no, we fine now.
I know, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. And see, I understand that because you're always on the golf course, so I know y'all fine. So,
let me go back just a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to give it to him. And I'm just going to be honest. Him wedging his way in between me and Jarrell took a long time. I'm not lying to y'all. Seriously.
Did you have a plan, Rob? Did you have a plan? Did you know what you was trying to do?
Plan. It was just the fact that it was me.
Okay.
It was me trying to let my guard down of allowing him to be a father to Jarrell.
Right.
I understand where you coming from that point, but this is what I'm saying. Why do I'm not gonna say all women, but why do women always try to, like shut it down when it comes with their child and somebody trying to be in a relationship with them and trying to get in, but they always try to shut it down?
Go ahead. I'll let you go first. I got my thought.
I think because with me coming from a 2-parent household, seeing 2 parents raise children is different than seeing a single person and someone trying to come in. If you understand what I mean.
Yes.
It was totally different for me, but the fact that he was mine, Jerome, he's mine. Yeah. But it took me a while to allow Rob to get to being the father that he needed to be, or to give Jarrell direction and guidance coming from a male's point of view. Male point of view, female point of view, mom and dad, totally different.
Totally different.
Yes. And still to this day, some things are totally different. But it just took, and it took a while for me to let that guard down. And I had to keep saying, okay, God, allow me, help me, help me, help me. I said it a lot, okay. But it was just totally different. I think just coming from, that 2-parent household bring up versus me being a single parent and someone trying to come in and make a difference. I had to see it for myself. Like all he's trying to do is see the better in your child. And that's what he wants to do. So, and he has told me before, he didn't have it all right because he didn't have a 2-parent family upbringing. Yeah. So he said, I'm trying to get this thing right myself as I'm trying to be the mentor or the father to your son. I'm trying to grow. I'm growing myself. I'm learning myself, so it wasn't easy, but it was worth it.
Janita, were you looking for something in particular when you said you were praying and it took a while? What were you looking for him to do?
I was looking for someone that was spiritual. And they had to be someone that was, of some worth, because I didn't want my child to be fathered by somebody that, would go out the door, just like Rob saying, okay, the boys are playing ball, I'm gone, or I'm never there. His presence had to be there. And it took Rob a while, when we moved in together, he was gone. But it took him a while, and he finally, the light bulb, clicked and said, hey, I need to slow down. If this is the way that, I want my life to go is with this person and her son, then I need to realize that I need to sacrifice some things that I'm doing and put forth and make it work with them.
Yeah. So the conversations was being had, right? Like behind closed doors, y'all kind of talked about this, right? Was things talked about? Was there any time that it was frustrating where one or the other got frustrated on what the other was saying?
It all depends on which perspective that you're coming from. I think for me, as you're working in relationships and everything like that, I looked at it like you're almost out of time. And I say that in the perspective that, she's not going to keep delaying, a full commitment, you know what I mean, as far as relationship is concerned. So you're either all in or you're not. And I knew that I wanted to be all in. It was just a matter of mentally being there and really truly understanding what that full commitment was. And it was like, there are no more choices that you can make beyond your family.
Yes.
And you have to be serious when you take that next step that, it was no longer about whether she was the right one or whether she had a child or anything like that. It was like, okay, when you make this decision, this is it. This is it. So every other decision that you make after that revolves around them.
Yes.
You follow what I'm saying? It's like there is no decision if somebody calls me up and says, "Hey, we'll get ready to do this." It's like my first thing is, John, what's going on? Or do we have plans? Is there something going on? And then having a conversation with her that, clearing, I'm saying in the sense where
you get permission.
No, it's not. No. It's not permission. It's not permission. It's making sure that it's correct. It's making sure that we don't have something to do.
Yeah.
Because if we have something even close to do, then that answer is already no. So you want to make sure that your priorities are straight. And I'm saying making sure that we don't have something to do before you commit to something else. Because like I said, when you weigh those two together, they don't come in comparison to what we have and where we're going.
Go ahead, my brother. I see you, Jay Falls.
Yeah.
That's really what I'm saying. I mean, it's not about permission. I mean, I'll be honest with you, and she can say whatever she wants. I've never felt that I needed to get permission to do anything.
I think we all grown.
But you ain't had to be so aggressive when you said that, though, Rob.
No, because that's important, though. That's important. I mean, because I think by having the conversation with her and we have a mutual respect for each other, that it's easier to deal with situations like that.
I totally agree, but I'm just
permission. Now maybe you need to get permission.
Nah, I'm grown. I'm grown.
She knows where I'm at.
But no, the reason why I said that is because your voice changed when you said that. You got I don't, what I'm saying?
No.
knows you.
No, you look. There's a lot of people out here that are looking at this podcast and might can gain something from that. And I want to be clear to people that are listening. It's not about getting permission. It's about having respect for the relationship. And then at that point, you can do what you need. You can do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Because they start to have a mutual respect for the way that you are and what you like to do. You know?
I mean, but you can't have it both ways. I'm not going to let you have it both ways on that because of the way you changed your tone when you said that. And that's why your wife busted out laughing because she know where I'm coming from.
Because look. No. Look, but it's the same way. She does not have to ask me for permission for anything. Nothing.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from. I mean, you're spot on. But the only reason why I keep saying this is because the way your voice changed when you said it, and
I want to be clear about
you don't got to clean it up. You already know. You already know exactly how your voice changed when you said that. That's why Kanisha laughed, and that's why your wife laughed.
Do you get permission?
Huh?
Do you get permission?
Permission to what?
Did everybody in TV land see the way his voice changed?
Nah, because
everybody see that
you trying to throw it off on me, but it's on you. I'm not gonna let you do that.
I thought I heard him say permission for what?
Yeah,
Like he got a little bass in his voice.
Yeah.
that's how you explained it
just
when you
saying.
came across, and it's
No,
kind
I'm
of
just
funny.
saying.
But
But
see,
no, for real.
it's
though.
not about me right now. It's about you.
Yeah, no. I would agree. But as far as the relationship concerned, I'm saying I'm counting the clock.
Yeah,
Like the clock is running down. And it's like you have to go ahead and make a commitment here because, like I said, the clocks get ready to expire.
Yeah.
The clocks get ready to expire. And then at that point, it's no longer your choice. It's no longer your decision. You know, she's going to go ahead and move on and do whatever she wants to do because she's given this relationship enough time,
yeah.
you know, from her perspective, you know. So,
Has he ever said this to you, Johnita? Has he ever, the way he's explaining it now, has he ever had talks with you about this? Like, hey, my clock was expiring and I had to
He's
make a
talking
move.
to me.
no, I didn't say nothing. I didn't do nothing.
I've heard a little bit of it, but not to this extent.
And see, that's what I was trying to get at because I saw the way that you was looking at him. Like, I never heard this.
Yeah,
And the way you're
I've heard a
explaining
little,
it.
but not
Yeah,
to this
just a
extent.
little bit of it. So now, Rob, you at the point where
No, but hold the time out. You didn't give up that hand yourself. I'm saying you didn't let Kanisha know that you are now up against the clock.
nah, because I had a plan when I was going in. I was all
Right,
in
that's
when I
what I'm
went
saying.
in.
I'm saying I got a plan too, but I also know that we in the third quarter and the game's get ready to be over.
But my clock was never running out.
No. I'm saying you don't let the clock run out. All I'm saying is this: you're not going to be able to continue this forever. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I understand that, but I'm just
There's
saying
many of people out there right now
the clock
that
is running
still
out.
in the same relationship
Yeah.
because they just never respected the clock and understand that they just feel that the clock can go on forever.
Oh,
And
no,
I'm
it's
saying
not
you
gonna
got
go
to
on
get to a
forever.
point that you understand that the game could be over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you said that because now my next point is now that your clock was almost running out on you, right? Now you had to make a decision. Now I'm all in. So you took it a little step further. So at this time, them feelings are starting to grow. So I'm gonna ask y'all the question. I'm gonna give y'all a chance to answer at the same time. Who was the first person that said, "I love you"?
Whew. I mean, that's an interesting question. I mean, that would probably be a real interesting question. I mean, in considering the fact that she was ready to get married after moving in, you know what I mean? So I would definitely lean towards her as far as being the one that said that. But I mean, it's an interesting question.
Probably
Is
one
this
that you
like-
don't remember.
I don't
Because I don't
I'm being
remember.
honest. I mean, I gotta be honest about that. I gotta be honest.
Well, Johnita
Yeah.
looks like she has the answer, so
Yeah.
we're gonna let Johnita speak. You have the
It was
answer.
me.
What?
It was me, and I as I go back and say, females are emotional, and when we feel that we have an attachment to something, we roll with it, And I, at that point in time, I was, the feelings were growing and growing and growing. So I'm not going to tell you that I love you just because.
Yeah.
So it was me. It was me.
So I mean, was it in an intimate setting that you said it, or it was just something that just came out of the blue? Like you could have been doing something around the house and said, Rob, I love you. Was it in an intimate setting?
I would say it probably was in an intimate setting, not just like, I'm washing dishes and turn around and say, hey man, I love you,
Uh-huh.
No.
So when you heard them words, Rob, I mean, I don't know if you can recall, how did that make you feel?
I mean, at the same time, it's one of those things where you have to be ready to respond back to
He
her.
say it back.
He did not.
No.
She don't remember. She don't remember. I mean, but you have to be ready to, number one, receive those words and then kind of reciprocate it back. And then when you say it, mean it. because we can say a lot of things and not really mean it.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
you got to be able to, when you hear it, receive it, and then communicate it back at the same time.
So you never communicated it back to her when she said it, or you wasn't ready to utter them words?
I think maybe at the time, I would probably, I mean, just if I'm reflecting back, I'm probably
Stumbling
saying,
and bumbling.
yeah, no, I'm probably not, I'm probably more or less caught off guard.
He said, "I love you."
No, I think,
But you the one that said your clock was running out.
I mean, you're talking about the first time versus several years down the road. There's definitely
difference.
there's definitely
That's time.
she might have been saying I love you on that first date. I mean at the wedding. I mean
Wow.
No.
You tried it,
I'm
huh?
sure I did not say it then.
no, but after a while, like I said, after a while you got you hear it and you have to be able to
Just say no.
Jay just said, just say no, man. Just be real.
I love my brother.
hey, nah,
That's right, Jay. Tell him, Jay Bird.
Look, I didn't sugarcoat it. I gave her the first props. Okay, I gave her the first props. I said I didn't necessarily remember the conversation around it. So I was, being honest about that.
Okay. Now that she got that out of the way, and she's falling in love. So let's get around to, once you started falling in love, when did the talks come up about marriage?
She didn't know. She didn't know that I was actually, kind of in that mode.
Mm-hmm.
I think it more or less caught her off guard. I mean, I'm already in the planning stages as far as, when I'm going to do it and everything like that.
But you couldn't tell her you loved her. But you in the planning stages.
No. We well down the road now. We well down the road. I'm talking about proposing and everything like that.
Okay.
So I'm already in the process of planning this. And like I said, she was not expecting it. Even though she wanted it, she was not necessarily expecting it. And that's how you have to be sometimes. You got to keep them a little bit off guard as well. Yeah. So, it's cat and mouse a little bit. So I proposed to her on Christmas Day. She said I was nervous.
You was.
She said I was shaking.
You was.
You know what I mean? We was at her townhouse in Spring Ridge, and I had proposed, and thankfully she said yes.
Oh, did they freeze?
What you mean, thankfully?
Oh.
Well,
Well, she wasn't gonna say no. She already told you she loved you. This is what she wanted, and
he was within the time frame. So
yeah,
he was what?
I was
within the time frame.
Yeah. I mean, but I got to say to myself, she's looking at this nigga ain't going nowhere. Like you wasn't going nowhere.
I wasn't. Look. I had no intentions on going anywhere else.
So why you should have just told her that?
Because
I ain't going. You should have just told her that and been clear. Like I'm not going nowhere. We just gonna figure this out together.
That's the easy way out.
That's not the easy way out.
No, that's the easy way out.
Because to me, it seems like that she was, letting her guard down. She was coming vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? But you talking about my time is running down. You should just told her, look, I'm not going nowhere. I'm in it for the long haul. We're gonna work through this together.
What's that get you another year?
No, it's not gonna get you another year, but it's gonna simplify some things.
Yeah, but I'm saying we already pretty much done been through that process already. So at that point, you're already to me, you're already on the clock. So you're pretty much working within the parameters, and you're looking at it like, okay. And also you have to be ready yourself to make that commitment.
So at that time when you was doing all the planning?
Yeah, no. So at that point, I felt I was comfortable in making that commitment. So
at that time when you was doing all your planning and stuff, you knew that, okay, yes, this is the one. I'm moving on. This is a lifetime right here. So as you're doing the planning and you said the proposal. You proposed on Christmas. She said yes. So after the proposal, like how long after the proposal did y'all set a date to be married?
It had to be.
I already know. She don't.
It had to be like 2 years.
No.
When was
It
it?
was 18 months.
Was it?
Yes.
Oh.
See, Rob, we don't get enough credit for remembering stuff, do we?
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what. He remembers a lot.
Look, memory is
Exactly.
impeccable. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah. 18 months. That's how we got to June 1st.
Selective memory.
See, Rob had a plan. See, now it's all coming out. He had a plan. He had all his timelines down. He knew when he could shoot the ball before the clock expired and make it go through the nets and win the game. And that's what he did because it was calculated moves Rob was doing, because that's why I said September is not going to, that June, that's when it's going to be. So you was calculated with your moves. So I think you was all in it from the start, but you just didn't want to tell it.
He asked my daddy.
No.
Oh, Mr. Gene, Rob skipped you?
He asked my brother, because my brother-in-law asked my brother to marry my sister.
So Rob, you took matters in your own hand, huh?
Yeah. I mean, if it was anything probably that I would probably like to do like a redo.
I said that myself.
I would have a
You guys
conversation.
can still redo. We'll get married again.
You know, I would have a conversation.
Because like I feel you.
But I
Rob,
think I
because-
was so locked in just planning it myself that I skipped quite a few things because nobody knew.
Nervous.
I mean, nobody.
Never asked.
But see, that's the thing, Rob. I totally I agree with you on that point, because when you're young, and you're trying to do things yourself, it's like your mind is racing, and you just like we don't try to like you got to go through the process, but sometimes you skip steps, right?
Yes,
but
I skipped a bunch of steps. At that
exactly,
point.
and you don't think about that until after the fact when it's all said and done, and then you got people coming at you be saying this and that, and you be like, "Dang, I didn't," you know what I'm saying? And like I told Kanisha, I said if there's some things that I could do over, I would do over. You know what I'm saying? But it was just, wanting to be married. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, your clock is expiring, your clock is ticking, and you want to take matters in your own hand, and you want to try to plan this yourself and trying to get everybody involved and things like that, and you just skipping steps, and you be like missing out the key steps, man. And I say to myself, if I could go back and redo it, I would have did it this way.
Yeah.
But that's just
You live and
like,
you learn.
yeah, that's like being young. Like if I had to do it all over right now, I would do the steps that you're supposed to take. You know what I'm saying? And
I mean, I, not to cut you off too, is I think part of that is growing up with a single mom and not having someone showing you that aspect of courtship
yes,
and marriage and things of that nature. And I think that's a prime example, how things like that get missed. And if I could bring up, it was probably a couple of weeks ago, and Elijah Hill had a mother and son,
Mommy and me.
yeah, Mommy and Me dance.
yeah,
That it's showing the young men, how to respect women, how to, courtship and things of that nature. And it's more or less a respect things. And I think as a young man, for me, going back 30 years, I didn't have that. So
totally
like I
agree.
said, I missed a lot of steps. I missed
I'm
a
glad
lot
you
of
said
steps.
that.
Yeah.
Right. That's a good point. I literally just had that conversation with Makai the other day, and I told him the things that I'm telling you now is a result of because I wasn't told when I was your age. So I want you to know all of these things so you won't go through and make all those mistakes and when you start to date and find you somebody that you like. So yeah, that's a good point.
That's great conversations to be had. You know what I'm saying? It's funny because when I pick my car from school, man, and coming home, we be having some conversations, man. I just give it to him raw and uncut. I can't sugarcoat it. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, but Makai is just like he is aware of a lot of things, right? And like Kanisha always say, I just want to see how Makai would act outside of our presence when he's hanging with his homeboys, right? So Makai's 13 now, so he's at a stage where we went to a football game, and I said, Makai, this is where I'm gonna be at, man. If you want to go hang with your friends and your little girls y'all run around with, hey, I'm right here. I just wanted to see how he would, react to it. But he was good. He handled himself accordingly. No trouble. But it's like Kanisha's fear is like, man, what is he gonna do when he's hanging around his homeboys? Well, we don't know because
we don't know.
It's like
you don't know.
It's a lot of things that I see out there. Is like, man, I wonder if my son is out here doing this. I wonder if my son is doing this if he's hanging with his little homeboys.
You can only teach him.
You know what I'm saying? So
pray over him.
It's like
it's
kind of
say it
crazy.
again.
So it's great that the relationship progressed like that. You got married. So now, since y'all been married, like let the people know like some of the challenges that could come up in a marriage, to maintain that healthy relationship. Man, what is the best advice y'all can give to some of the young couples out there that are striving to be 20 years in marriage and things like that?
Let me circle back once, Kareem, because Rob brought up the fact of being a single, his mom being single and raising him and his sisters. And I had to understand, and I've told Rob this 100 times, I was like, you never got a beating. I totally believe that you never got a beating because I always say that he was his mama's boy. And he said, no, he says, my mom just tried to keep me from things that his sisters got into. She really shielded him from doing a lot of outside stuff.
Yeah.
And I must say, and that it worked to a certain extent. I will say that, because I see the good things in him that he wasn't shielded from, I think, everything, but the choices that he made has allowed him to be where he is today. I'm not saying that Rob was an angel. I'm not saying that I was an angel. But we live and we learn. And just like you said, you want to see how Makai acts, when you guys aren't around. But what you put inside of them, hopefully they will, show it when we are not around.
Yes.
And like Kanisha said, you just got to pray for your child when Jarrell was off at college. You talk about a worry ward. Oh my Lord, but Rob kept saying, you don't know what he's doing, but we just gonna keep praying. That's what we have to do. But I just have to say to him, with a single mom that raised him, she did well, from what she had to do and where she, brought him from. And, she did well. So I'm reading my mom's comments. Yeah. But in reference to, how we kind of made it through, I'm just going to speak for me and then he can speak on his own. I had to learn how to sacrifice.
Yes.
I'm telling you, I had to learn how to lay down some things and be like, John, it ain't all about you. This is a marriage, it's a partnership, and it wasn't easy. Marriage is not easy peasy like everyone thinks that it is.
Exactly.
It's work. And until you come together on the same table, you're walking the same way, you're trying to understand the same things. That to me, that's just my opinion, how we have made it so far. But I will say that a big part of our marriage is spiritual.
Yes.
We both are, children of the kingdom. We both know what we need to do in order to enter the kingdom. We both go to church together. We pray together every morning. That's a big part for me because, as we know, the word of God says that he has to submit himself to God, and then I have to submit myself to him. And let me back up and tell you this.
Hold on. Say that again. That submit. See, we have we always make fun of this word
Yep.
submission around here,
Mhm.
right? And we've done podcasts on this, and I've told Kanisha, a lot of women get offended by that word submit.
Yes. Yep.
And it's not a bad thing if you look at it, but I think it's the terminology, the way they use it, and women get so offended by that, and I just don't know why.
No,
Because you don't understand it until you can spiritually understand it.
Okay.
We set our own vows. I did not say submit at all because I did not understand the word, the terminology when it came to the spiritual aspect of it. I'm thinking physical, and that wasn't the way to think about it, because if you understand the word of God, you'll understand what submission means.
Exactly.
He has to submit himself first.
Exactly. That's the point.
That's right.
That's the point that I was trying to make.
No, I don't.
The man has to be submit to God.
That's right.
Before I can submit
to
you.
him. That's right.
Exactly.
That's
but
I don't think that's the point, though.
But I think that a lot of couples go, okay, well, I can't submit myself to this man. He ain't submit worthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't bash that girl or that lady who's in a relationship who says that, no, it's just not my thing. I mean, I'm not willing to submit.
I understand.
I'm not there yet.
I understand exactly what you're saying.
That's the point I was arguing.
That really ain't even the focal point. The focal point is that word submit. Anytime a woman hears that word submit, she blows off the handles. Like if a guy say, well, she's, you got to be submissive, she just blows off the handle.
Well, because they don't understand it.
Exactly. That's my point. They don't understand that word and the way it's supposed to be used until you, like you said, spiritually, until you know what it really means. So it's not a bad word.
It's not a bad word at all.
They think it's a bad word.
No. But you have to grow.
Used out of context.
Yeah, you have to grow and understand what it means. And it's not just being submissive, it's a whole lot of other stuff that you need to take into consideration when you get married. My parents have been married for 55 years this year. My sister's been married for 31. My brother's been married for, I think, 23 or 24, and we're 20. So there's things that work in marriage. And we take things from here, take things from there, but the main focus is we have to make it work for us. And as I tell people that are getting married, your marriage is your marriage. Don't look at your marriage and try to compare it to somebody else. It's all about you two, and that's it. Oh, 26
Jay said he'd
years.
been 26.
I'm sorry, Jay. Yeah. But your marriage is your marriage. You can't try to make your marriage like the Joneses. I ain't worried about the Joneses. I'm sorry.
No, at all.
I'm worried about 2131 and being the wife of Rob Bowens. That's
that 2131 ain't that chestnut?
That's it. But that's just my suggestion for everyone, that is trying to get to this point. And marriage doesn't work for everyone. It doesn't. And it's okay. It's okay. But I tell you what, I won't do this again. I'm just saying.
Oh no! I tell Kanisha all the time.
No.
Hey, if this don't work between me and her, I can't do it again. It's too late.
For life.
It's too late. It's too late in my life to start back over.
Who are you telling? But then
I
again,
wouldn't
I
know
don't
what
know
to
if I
do,
want to
man.
live this single life because it's too much out there.
It's too. I wouldn't know what to do, man.
Yeah.
So I have a question for the both of you. So, and I'll let Johnita answer first. So, Johnita, what is one thing that you wish you had known prior to marrying Rob?
Whoa. One thing that I wish I would have known. Oh.
That was a good one.
Wow. Ow, you just got me stumped.
It can be good, it can be bad, it could be something, because a lot of times we get into relationships and we be like, dang, I wish whew, I wish I'd have known you act like this, or I wish I'd have known this. I wish this would have came out when we were living together.
Look, she's struggling. So, as the responsible husband that I am, I'm going to go ahead and interject here, give my comments,
Okay.
give her a chance to get her thoughts back,
Okay.
and then we'll proceed on. So for me, it would be the adjustment of everything being family oriented. And when I say family oriented, I don't say that from just me, her, and Jarrell. It's the family. You know what I mean? So when we do things, it's collectively
The family.
the family, right? So, that would probably be the biggest adjustment for me. Not that it's an issue, it's just, when you take on her, you're taking on
Everybody.
That big
every
family.
right, correct,
Yeah.
correct. And I think, for me, and why I say that is, growing up with a single mom, so it wasn't the same. You know what I mean? It wasn't quite the same, but they grew up, everybody's doing everything together.
We
You
know how
know
the
what I
Fosses
mean?
roll.
Yeah. So the adjustment for me is fitting into that situation. And it's like when we go to the park, it's not me and her going to the park, it's everybody's going to the park. So that's an adjustment, that you have to, you get used to that aspect of it.
Right.
Like I said, and just because just growing up with my mom, you're not used to that same type of atmosphere, so to speak. You know what I mean? It's not a negative. It's just it's what
You had
I
to adjust
missed.
to it. Yeah.
It's what I missed. It's what I missed growing up. I didn't have that. They were already doing that. So for them, it's not like it's not a big deal. I didn't have that. So that part, that's why I say that's the adjustment for me. You know what I mean? And I don't say that in a negative connotation. I'm just saying, when you take on her, you're also taking on everything else that comes with it. There's a lot of baggage she got right here.
Got
You know
you.
what?
Now, Johnny, you're not off the hook. So you,
I know.
you got to answer that question.
I know. I will say for me that it's a good thing. And I wish I would have, I think I knew it, but I just didn't pay attention to it enough to where I pay attention to it now. This joker right here is so financially, mentally straight. And I kind of maybe was there a little bit, but missed the boat somewhat. And he has guided us to where we are financially in a much better space than where we were. So I give him the props.
You didn't know that about Rob?
I knew it, but it took. I had to grow into knowing it more and more and more, and actually seeing it.
Oh, okay.
But I knew he had graduated from college with an accounting degree.
I was already saying it's college. That was his major.
Yeah, but we both have the accounting degrees.
Yeah.
We both have accounting degrees.
So why you say it like that? Well, we both got accounting degrees.
The voice changed again, didn't it?
Hey,
That was a little shade right there.
No. But it's one of I think it's one of those things how you process things.
Yeah.
And we process things
Different.
totally different. You know what I mean? Which is good, because if we process things together the same, we'd probably be in a lot more trouble.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's good that we complement each other from that perspective.
Good
And
stuff.
I think kind of backing up in one of the things that you had said, you had a question. One of the things for me was learning to listen. Because sometimes when you're strong-minded in different ways, that you don't listen.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to listen. And I think that was an issue within the relationship, was not being able to just listen and not say something. And that was an adjustment that you have to, as you become good partners, you have to become a good listener. And because you listen doesn't always necessitate a response. It's just you're
Gotcha.
listening.
That's a great answer. So
Yeah.
on that being said, like I said, the financial thing, I know me and Rob had we've conversated about that plenty of times. But like I said, he's smarter than what he looks. You know what I'm saying? And he breaks things down to where you can understand it. It's a lot of things that a lot of. I mean, I know people look at a lot of men and say when they talk, they probably don't understand where they're coming from. But like speaking with Rob, it's like the tone is like he's gonna make you understand it, and he will, like he say, circle back, and he's gonna get you on the right track to understanding where he's coming from. So he's gonna when he makes his point, he wants to make sure you understand where he's coming from. I get it every day on the little chat thing, so I mean
Yeah.
I know how Rob operates.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I think just even from just a financial perspective is somewhere along the line, and I'm not sure, and this was probably early in, I mean, maybe like late high school. I already had an understanding that I wanted to do accounting, but I only was attracted to it because of the title.
yes,
I didn't understand what it meant. I just knew it was something good. But then after you start getting into it and you start taking the classes and you get a understanding, it was totally night and day. It was something that just became easy to understand. And managing money for me is I've somewhere along the line I've just simplified the process that it just makes it easier. And it kind of I joke with John all the time is when I alluded to we both have an accounting degree. The first 4, 5, maybe the first 4 or 5 years, John was managing our finances, so to speak. And I'm looking at what I'm making. I'm looking at what she's making. And I'm sitting there like, man, we can't get a loaf of bread. What is going on? Like, what is going on? Like this does not make any sense to me. Like, and I'm doing other things. I mean, I'm like outside doing things to the house, what this is at this point we're at the townhouse. I'm putting the deck up, you know what I mean? Kind of I'm working on manly stuff and letting her handle the finances. And it was like it was not working. It was a train wreck. And I'm not even trying to
Do what you're
sugarcoat it.
strong at, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is I'm struggling with the aspect that we both have this accounting degree. She's working at a credit union, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting there like, hold up, okay. So I'm feeling at the time we're in good hands. You know what I mean?
Let alone I was ching-chinging. I was spending money.
wow, just out there spending, huh?
Yeah, basically.
So we took a pause. We took a time out. And I said, let me go ahead and try to help. Let me go ahead and get involved. And we haven't looked back since. You know what I mean? So
I mean, even the fact of, Rob lost after we moved here in 2007. We moved here in March of 2007 in our house that we built. And he lost his job like a couple months after we built this house. And then he got a job. And then it was probably like a year or so that he lost that job.
Yeah.
But because of the fact of the finances were in order, plus God didn't see us without, we were good.
Yes.
So I commend him for his side that he does. He does a whole different financial setting mindset of what I do at my job. but we complement each other where things have gotten better and better and better,
That's good
so
stuff.
yeah.
So to answer Jay's question,
I hate my brother.
No, to answer Jay's question.
No, Jay.
So
this is what he said. You should have went to Shepherd.
No, I'm putting this on Mr. Jean and Miss Shirley. She was still buying them Jordache jeans that they was buying her with them Reebok sneakers back in the day, and we got a family situation going on. She's still trying to buy that type stuff because she's been spoiled. And I'm sitting there, I grew up with a single mom on bologna sandwiches, and we just making it. You know what I mean? So I didn't need all the extra stuff like mayonnaise. I had mustard. You know what I mean? So I was okay. And I'm
syrup sandwiches.
Yeah, exactly. That's
my
what I'm
father
saying.
had syrup sandwiches.
Mr. Jean don't roll that way. He don't eat no syrup sandwiches.
Mr. Jean chime in. Yes, he did.
Mr. Jean go all out. Stop that.
No, when he was growing up, he did not have what we.
Hey, when Mr. Jean was growing up, he had luxury cars. He had all them little Corvettes and stuff that he posted up on the street. Yes, Mr. Jean, I saw them.
Hey, for some kids that lived across the street. From the ghetto. They lived lavishly.
Yeah. Exactly.
They were above par.
Was that setting up on Bench Street, wasn't it? Mr. Jean, I saw them out there.
Hey, they were in the upper echelon of black folks at the time.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. So she brings that into the relationship. So I'm just saying, from a spending standpoint, I'm like, we need to get milk and eggs this week. You know what I mean?
We wasn't that bad. Look, I understand what you're saying.
Them nails can wait. You know what I mean? The nails can wait. So
yeah.
So
they not waiting now because Rob, you get your nails and feet done too. So stop.
Look, now I do because
thank you.
Because after you prioritize, you can start.
See how listen to it, Johnny. See how his voice after you prioritize.
Yeah, but that is a big thing about marriage too. You have to set things in priority, because if you don't, you in for a train wreck.
Marriage can go downhill. That's one of the number one reasons.
Money can separate you in a heartbeat.
One person not good with money, and the other is, and you got a disaster.
Correct. And the way we started out initially was, she's got her money and I got my money. You paying the electric bill, I pay the mortgage, blah, blah, blah. We kind of got it divided. And then when you're not hitting those marks and you sitting there like, hold up, why wasn't the phone bill paid? Or why wasn't this bill paid? And there's no answer. There's no simple answer for it. Now we got an issue. So one of the things that we did at the time, and we're talking about, years ago when we were back at Spring Ridge, is we consolidated the accounts. And it was no longer, this is, my money, your money, so to speak. We merged everything together. We kind of simplified things, gave each other, so to speak, an allowance, like this is your money. And you can do whatever you want with your money, and it's like just as you work, we're paying ourselves in the relationship as well. You know what I mean? So like at the end of the week, you're getting this money and I'm getting this money, and you can do whatever you want. If you want to save it for a month, or whatever. And at the time, I don't know exactly what that dollar figure was, but it's gotten to a point now where we don't even concern ourselves with that. It's more or less, we have something that we've built together that
it works for us.
Yeah, it
works for us.
There's money. It's just we don't concern ourselves with money
when
anymore.
He want to go out and buy them golf clubs, I don't say a word.
I know, because y'all be pressing. You see how I threw that in there? Y'all be pressing.
When I won't buy my purses.
Right. It's like it's because we're no longer having conversation about petty stuff.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We have a program where the bills are paid.
You
and
know
we
what you
have a
can
good
and can't
understanding
afford.
on how we're going to get them paid. And then after that, we set up a savings account, and we know we have money set to the side that if we want to go on a vacation, we can go on a vacation. If we want to get a car, we can get a car. I mean, it's not one of those situations where we're trying to make it from one week to the next.
Praise the Lord.
We're past that. And the thing is, though, here's the thing: it's not about the money or the dollar amount that we make. It's the discipline that we have, and we both understand, that discipline. That when we have money, we don't spend it recklessly. You follow what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Just because we have it. And a lot of times people spend money just because they have it. And then when you get into a situation where you got to put the car in the shop, you're sitting there wondering how we're going to pay for it. And I'm saying just because we have good discipline in how we go about living our life, that we don't spend money recklessly. There isn't anything we can't get if we want it, but we don't spend it recklessly. And I think it's kind of like, just prime example. Today we were at the Nike outlet in Clarksburg, and I was taking back a pair of shoes because the ones I had were they were the right size, but it was like they was cut small or something like that.
Yeah.
And there was another pair of shoes. The shoes that I had was maybe like $50, right? And there was another pair of shoes that was $105. It wasn't the fact that I couldn't afford the shoes that was $105. It was just I'm not paying $105 for some shoes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like my mindset is like I'm not paying $105 for some shoes. I'll wait till those shoes, come down at Christmas for like $79. You know what I mean? And it was like maybe it's not $79, maybe it's like $85. I don't know. I just can't make my mind buy a $105 pair of shoes. But somebody else can.
Right.
But then when they want to get an oil change, they can't get an oil change.
Yeah.
So you know.
With that being said, I will say this works for us.
Yes.
Everyone's totally different.
Different. Yes.
But this is what works for us. So that's, if you get anything out of what we said and it works for you, kudos to you. But
that's a great message, though.
This is what works for us, and this has gotten us to the 20 years, and it's just carrying us forward. So it hasn't been easy, but this is what works for us, and this is what we've come to an understanding that works for us. So
but what they always say, marriage works. So
yeah,
you just got to take the time out to do it.
Absolutely. So 20 years ago, we went to Aruba for our honeymoon. She almost killed me. She almost drowned me on the trip, but somehow I got saved. And
you got saved by the people on the boat. That's what you.
Yeah. So 20 years later, this year, we went back to Aruba, and
gorgeous.
Yeah, it was really nice to see the changes to the island, as well as kind of just reflecting on your whole relationship.
You are.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you're reflecting back on your marriage, you're reflecting back on your life, you're reflecting back on everything up until this point, 20 years later. And when you have one of those moments where you're just there, you're on the island, and it's like you're in one of those wild moments where you really are at a point of appreciation and thankful that you was able to come back, 20 years later. And not only that you're still together.
Yes.
Because just like she said, it's not easy. We haven't had every day where the sun is shining. There were some dark days, through it all. And I think it comes to a point where, you have to get maturity. You have to have some growth. You have to, get to a point. And this is one of the things that I learned, for me, is listening to my pastor and saying that always continue to outserve her. And what I'm saying is, meaning that whatever she needs, whatever the moment is, it's like, I'm just gonna, whether it's dinner, whether it's whatever it is, I'm gonna continue to outserve you, outperform you in service to you. You know what I mean? And I don't look for anything in return. You know what I mean? Because I do it from my heart.
Heart, yes.
I do it because I'm supposed to. If she comes home and the headlights out, it immediately gets fixed.
Yeah.
It don't sit there until next Saturday when I got a moment. No,
you don't have a moment on Saturday, so you play golf.
Yeah, absolutely. so it gets handled right there. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, if I'm home first,
it's
I'll
the little
cook.
things.
Yeah, I cook.
That's right.
I'll cook. So it's continuously trying to serve. You know what I mean? And you have a servant attitude about things, it'll get you a long way. It buys you a lot of favor.
Great message. Great message to the people, even the young kids. I mean, even the people that, that it's inspiring to hear, stories like this, and, to let your story shine light on other people, right? Because you don't know who this might have touched, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? There's always a message within the message, right? And like we always say, marriage is difficult. But like you said, when you are as one, and like you said, and you spiritually grounded, then, you take the time out to make things work. You just don't run from it. Yeah. But there's a lot of relationships out here that don't work because they're not spiritually grounded, and they just run from all the problems. They don't try to make it work. It's like Rob said, that's the easy way out. They just get out. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But
it's easy to quit.
Easy
to quit. Real. Yeah, but, I mean, it's easy to quit, and I would be naive to say that I've never wanted to quit. You know what I mean? But that's also, when you take those vows, and when you take them, when you get married, it's like, to death do us part. You got to, somewhere along the line, you have to start believing that.
Yes.
Like literally, like you start believing it. And then when it becomes a part of your relationship, that you're not going to let small things tear you apart. You know what I mean? Because, you wrestle with spirituality and stuff like that will try to divide you. And you can't let that separate you. And if you're not grounded, things can happen that you let things slip away, or they slip through your fingers.
That means that you're on the clock. That time, that clock is ticking. That goes back to your theory about that clock is ticking. That shot clock running down, but
shot clock's running down.
Like I said, man,
what LeBron gonna do? What he gonna do?
I mean, to be honest with you, the way I see it now is, we're on the back half of our relationship.
Yeah.
And we're living some of the best times of our life on this back half.
Yep.
But it took that front half to get to this point.
To get to that back
trials half. And testimonies and everything like that, that now that we're on this back half, what this last 20, what this last 25, what this last 30 is going to be, man, I can't wait. I can't wait.
But Rob, you always said that you do better on the back nine. So I agree with your little, statement.
It's about preparation, though.
Yeah,
it's about preparation. But, you know what I mean? Because it took a lot of work, to get to this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think what you have to do, you have to be able to do things yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to be able to, John said it early in the conversation. It's about sacrifices.
Sacrifice, yes.
You know what I mean?
That's great.
And Kareem, you I mean, you know what I'm talking about. You got to make sacrifices here and there.
We have these conversations every day, so we know.
I mean, look, the basement was nothing. It was concrete.
It was concrete. I saw the whole project as it was unfolding.
Right, exactly. And but we don't we didn't do all of that just to keep it for ourselves.
He likes the
And
party.
and look,
I said that earlier.
exactly that's my whole point was for us to do that and not share that with everyone else. I mean, then what are we doing? Why keep all of that for ourselves?
I can't even get my craft room down in the basement.
No, the basement is the basement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
that's the city stopper. That's the showstopper in the city. When
literally.
Yeah.
You know, we do that intentionally. Mm-hmm. We do that intentionally because a lot of folks could be going through something and they just might need an outlet to just come have a good time, whether it's the cookout or whether it's just the music, dancing, and just the camaraderie of just being around a lot of friends. And we literally have coined it the kickoff to the summer. Mm-hmm. It's literally the first holiday, and that is the kickoff to the summer. And we couldn't do it the previous year because of COVID and everything like that. And we was able to, do something in the middle of the summer. And it was like, you could feel it that it was
perfect.
Yeah. It was perfect. I mean, it was flawless because it was something everyone needed. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, like I said, we don't do that just for ourselves. We do it for everybody else.
That's why he's finishing this patio.
Yeah.
I've seen that project unfolding as well.
But here's the thing, though. Look. So I do things like that. I mean, I'll put the patio in. I'll do the labor. I'll do the buying. I'll put it down. I don't mind stuff like that. But that saves money, financially for our family so we can do the cookouts.
Yes.
So we can go to Aruba. You know what I mean? That $3,000 extra, that pays for the trip. That doesn't, it's kind of like I don't mind doing the labor on, projects around the house and things of that nature for that simple reason. You know what I mean?
If you need a handyman,
I can get it done.
Contact me.
But he's just as good as me, though. For real though, he's just as good as me.
Yeah.
And Kareem has,
you do. I mean, I got my own little niche, but you do a lot of things that, like that basement I saw from start to finish, man. I mean, that was impressive, man.
It surprises me sometimes, Kareem. Seriously, like, oh, you can do that. Oh, okay.
I've seen all the projects that he started from ground up, and still got pictures from when it was butt naked. So hey,
literally.
I've seen it all. So I mean, Rob is a good man. You got yourself a good one. You got yourself a handyman. You got it all wrapped up in one. And I mean, it was great that y'all shared your story, man.
Look, but check this. It's the same dude that said, she said, look me up in the phone book.
Yep.
Look me up in the phone book.
But hey, she didn't know she had a real one. But man, it's always great to hear stories like that. And in closing, man, I want to take this time to thank y'all for y'all's time and sharing y'all's story. I mean, it could be an inspiration to somebody that might needs to hear something like this. Like I said, when I do these podcasts, man, in situations like this, man, you don't know who it'll touch. You don't know who it's going to inspire. You don't know who it's going to affect.
Who may be going through something in
exactly.
their marriage, who may be going through something right now that we've already been through, or that you've already been through.
And y'all shedding light on it. It's okay sometimes to be uncomfortable and vulnerable in situations like this. You know what I'm saying? But it's like the conversations need to be had. So, I mean, from it was a great one, man. It's like a lot of people chiming in now. Great episode. I mean, it's a lot that could be learned from these kind of conversations, and I like conversations like this, and that's why we started the Marriage Chronicles, just to shed light on a lot of things that a lot of people, like the youngsters, man, still out there running around with the pants hanging down, that don't have no structure, no guidance on where they're gonna go. They might hear something like this and be like, wow, marriage ain't that bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and like I said, I appreciate it. So,
K-Sap, let me say one thing, Capes, before we get out of here. And it kind of piggybacks on what you just said. Kid today, he got me for $30. And when I say got me, it's kind of like because of what he said. We were at the Nike outlet. The kid was he had a little kiosk, and he was selling like a shoe cleaner.
Okay.
And he was, at first he was like, it was like $40 or something like that or whatever, and then he showed me the product. And he was cleaning the bottom part of my shoes, the white part.
Yeah.
Look, whether it cleaned them or not, what he said to me, like I said, he got me in the sense he said, "You want me to be selling drugs, or you want to try to help me out?" And I was like, wow. I was like, it didn't even matter whether it was soap and water in his bottle.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like,
But it's what he said. It was
he
the
hooked
fact.
me.
Yeah.
He hooked me in the sense that, you know what I mean? It's what he said.
Yeah.
And like I said, maybe there's something that we said tonight that might help somebody else.
Exactly.
But what he said was like, it didn't even matter because I ended up giving him a $6 tip on top of that. You know what I mean? So it was the fact that he was like, "Do you want me to be selling drugs or out on the street?" And I was like, I said, "Man, you got me. You got me. Here, you got me. It doesn't even matter because it was me investing into him on something that might help him in his future."
Right.
Great.
So, Johnita, before we leave out, tell everybody where they can find you and where they can get your items and what you do, and do you ship and all of that good stuff.
So with Be Pressing, and I'm going to admit I have been very non-diligent on getting this website up. But if anyone needs mask, shirt, we do the vinyl, we do sublimation, we do mugs, we do tumblers. You can contact me on Facebook with Johnita Bowens. You can also hit me on Instagram through Johnita Bowens. And I also have an Instagram page of Be Pressin'. And you can also reach me by email, which is Fawcett, FOSSETT 29 at AOL.com. We are just Be Pressing, trying to just make somebody happy. That's what my goal is. If I can put a smile on your face and a smile on your heart and make you smile, I've achieved what I've set out to achieve. So
y'all already achieved a lot, man, because y'all
we made these nice shirts.
Yeah,
man.
I see. I got
my wife
focusing
is
on
dope.
it. Yeah.
You
So,
know,
y'all inspiration to a lot of people, and all the people back in Frederick, they know that. So, I mean, all the people that was watching back in Frederick, they know how powerful this couple is. You know what I'm saying? They do a lot of things, like I said, in the community. I mean, like I said, every time they have a party, I mean, they open their home up to, a lot of people. It's like I always pick fun at Rob, like, man, the whole city's on shutdown. Like, it's quiet out in the city because everybody over there at 2131. Now I've been at a couple of the joints, so I know how the city is shut down. Like, it's like there's no movement. If you want to know what's going on, all you got to do is look on Facebook and you see everybody is throwing the pictures up at the boat. Man, I see it. So stop it.
it was a blessing that this year we was able to have it in the backyard, so because of COVID and everything like that, but it was a truly blessing. We celebrated Rob's birthday. He turned 50 back in February, but he wanted to celebrate on his mom's birthday, which was actually that day in July. And she would have been 75. So it was a blessing to be able to do it. And we need some of them Marriage Chronicles shirts. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, y'all get them, because y'all finally came on, and see the person that didn't want to come on, he took over the show. I mean, it's like So I mean, the person that was hesitant, like, man, I don't know.
No.
Here we go.
Right.
Changed. Here we go.
I will be honest, because in one sense, I guess I am who I am, and I don't do it for attention. I don't do it for anything. And I don't want it to be misconstrued that I'm doing this for any type of accolades or any type of attention. So that's number one for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So by doing being hesitant on doing the podcast, like I said, I don't want that to be misconstrued like I'm doing it just to be flamboyant with my stuff or whatever. It's not who I am. And sometimes people can misread that.
No, misread it. Yeah, I got you.
Absolutely, they can
We ain't worried
misread
about
it.
them. They ain't
Yeah,
the right people. Then.
That you have ill-advised intentions.
Yeah.
And if you know me, if you truly know me, if you one of the 5, if you one of the 6
Yeah.
that know me, or one of the 10 that know me, then you understand that that's not the avenue that I'm coming from.
Gotcha.
And I didn't want to just try to help somebody in our conversation and have it misconstrued, by somebody that didn't really even know.
Yeah.
Now I felt compelled that, we're just gonna. It's no different. We're just having a different conversation.
Yeah.
Whether
people gonna talk anyway, regardless of how you come across.
And then people can receive it however they want to receive it.
Yeah.
But I'm okay because I knew my intentions.
This is our story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is Rob and John Nita's story. This is nobody else's story, but your story can help somebody out if they're going through a hard time in their marriage, if they're looking to get married, and the complications and things that you got to put in order to get to the 20 years that y'all guys are at. So I'm grateful to have you guys in our lives, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, this y'all two right here, I've been knowing
for real. You guys have been true friends, a true blessing to us, and treated us literally as family every time. Not like all the time. Every time we've come out there to see you guys, to see a game and everything like that. You guys have opened your home. You've opened your heart. You know what I mean? And we truly are thankful, for the format that you're putting out there help people.
That's right.
Because without a format and a platform, people can't voice, what's on their heart, how they met. Like I said, it's the small things that might help somebody along the way. And without the platform that you guys are providing, it doesn't happen. They don't hear our story without you. You know what I mean? So don't take what you do lightly. It's very important and it's very needed for the Black community. You know what I mean? As well as everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to limit it, but we come against different struggles within ourselves that we fight enough that we should have a good time in fellowship and just be able to just share an evening. We could be at the club right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, we here trying to help somebody, make it a long life's journey. So thank you guys.
That's right. Thank you.
Yes,
much love.
Sorry we didn't get down this year, but we might.
All right.
I don't know.
It's still early.
It's still early, so
Still early.
Yeah.
Y'all might change y'all's mind, but it was a blessing and it was an honor for y'all to grace the presence of the Marriage Chronicles, and like I said, we appreciate your time. And like Rob said, y'all could have been at the club on this Saturday night, but y'all took time to come on our platform and spread y'all's love and let everybody know, let them get a sneak peek into y'all's world or how y'all met and how things progressed and how y'all got married and y'all's relationship. So I want to thank you guys, and if there's not anything else nobody has to say, like we always do, this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host, the man behind the mic. That's my co-host, K-Sap Square. And guess what? We're going to catch y'all on the next one. Deuces.
Thank you.
Later.
Yep.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe.
Ciao.
Share on all
Tito's.
Some Tito's and cranberry, boy. Tito's and cranberry.
Ciao. He been